so much to this show that
So
it's just
much.
not about where they ended up. It's like how they got there.
Hey, K-drama fans, we are the KThree, and this is our K-drama coffee break, doing our finale series for 25-21. Let's dive in. Okay, Marisa, so it just ended. We just did our live with the crew, and we've had a little bit of time to process the finale of 25-21. Where are you when all is said and done?
Jen, I think I'm still processing, and I think it's going to take me a while because it's almost like the show deserves it. It deserves that much afterthought because it was so much richer. There were so many stories. It hit on so many cultural touchstones, historic events that impacted the entire world, that impacted their world. There were small stories, big stories. It was so full of life and verve that I think we need to pay it homage by not reducing it to like one single thought. Like, you know what I mean?
It had so many things going on in it. Yeah, for sure. You said it much more eloquently than I did. But yeah, there was multiple layers to what was occurring. We had romantic love. We had friend love. We had familial love. We had growing up. We had, growing up but not ready to grow. There's so many different things that were happening at all times in this show. What it means.
International sports competitions.
International reporting. There was just a lot. And I think maybe that's why I really, at the end of the day, I really enjoyed it. But I have to say the ending was a little sad. It was really well done. It was really, really, really well done and beautiful. But I do feel a little hole in my heart for the Becky Jin Naido love story.
Definitely bittersweet.
Yeah.
And in the way that some other dramas, because we watched them live as they're airing, you get caught up in a lot of other peripheral noise that impacts what you think the show is about, or you start asking questions that you want answered. But the thing is, the show wasn't really about that thing that we were trying to figure out.
Oh my God, not even at all. The number of people who are on Twitter right now being like, so many unanswered questions. I'm like, not really. I mean, who her father is? I mean, does it matter? We know it's not Becky Jin. Like, they aren't giving us that story. I mean, that's one of my quibbles, but they're not giving us that story. So it's not.
Yeah. To jump right to the epilogue at the end of episode 16, it's about first love.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So, but I mean, I think we do have to just acknowledge that this show was so good because of the actors that were in it, right? Like, it was A+. It's led by Kim Taeri and Nam Joohyuk, who we've already squeed about for 30 minutes. And if you love him as much as we do, you need to check out our podcast, because he picks again what we said in that podcast. Nam Joohyuk really does not pick the standard drama anymore. I mean, even look at Startup. Startup was supposed to be a standard drama, and it became just a dumpster fire about his poor character.
Yeah. He, I don't know if he's got a sixth sense about these things, or he has a really great management team, or he signed to a different agency recently, right? Yeah. So Nam Joohyuk left YG, went to Management Soup, which is
Gong
Yu's agency. So yes,
that's big. I don't think it gets much bigger than Gong Yu, does it? Oh, maybe EJ, maybe EJ Hyuk now. What is his name?
Lee Jung-jae.
Lee Jung-jae. How would I forget that's my favorite name? Maybe Lee Jung-jae now. But I mean, listen.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
So A+ quality projects are coming his way because of this of this resume that he's built of characters who are far more layered and far more interesting and have far more depth than your typical light rom-com male lead.
Absolutely. And he's paired up with Kim Tae-ri, who's we already know is a juggernaut, right?
I love her. I love her
so much. I love her.
So she started it.
I just want to be best friends with her so bad.
I know.
Like,
Right?
I just want to go have coffee with her and just be like,
I know. Thank God she's not actually 21.
Right?
Yeah, she's 31, I guess. But yes, so she starred in The Handmaiden. Probably the one most people know is Mr. Sunshine.
Mm-hmm.
I highly recommend Little Forest.
I need to watch that one. Yeah.
Little Forest, beautiful, healing food, Korean food, just gorgeous. But this character,
and don't forget Space Sweepers. That's my
Space
favorite.
Sweepers. How can I forget that?
I love her Space Sweepers with those glasses and just being a badass with her gun. I love them.
Yeah, with her space gun.
I did. I love that. That movie was just fun. It was just fun.
It was. That's a good rewatch. But the two of them together, growing up, cresting from those teenage years where it's about trying to get your hands on the latest graphic novel of Full House,
right?
And the machinations she went to with that, to growing into young people who are on a trajectory of success because of their hard work,
right?
They did it because of each other, and they did it with the support of each other. But it was a first love,
Yeah. I mean, I was looking at my notes that I'd written down as we watched the show, because we did watch it live before we did this. And one of my notes was that this story seems to be a story about effort. Like, what kind of effort are you willing to put into things? And love, just first love, or like, romantic love is just kind of is an extra zhuzh to it. Because it's, what are you passionate about? What are you doing? What is it that drives you? And I found that that's kind of what each of the characters in the show had that. What is it that they want to put the most amount of effort into?
Right. And that's why it starts with the IMF crisis, because what it happens is it becomes very individualistic. Like, you make your future and you choose who you're going to share your love and your time with. So in that sense, this drama it hits you in so many different ways, and it hits you in so many different feels, because it's about more than the relationship between two people or the relationship between two best friends. I don't want to say slice of life. It's more like just life.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Cause if it was a slice of life, it was a big hunkin' slice of life. Right. Cause it was like quarter of the cake. I really thought, and then the core five were really great. In addition to the two, to our, Kim Tae-ri and Nam Joo-hyuk. I mean, we had Ko Yoo-rim, who was played by Bona.
Yes.
And then Moon Ji-woon.
I hadn't seen her before in anything. I know she's an idol.
Either. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. What else has she been in?
She was charming.
She was really charming. She was an idol, which I was surprised.
Yeah. But also, just her steadfast love for her family. Her story is a very typical Korean story of, struggle and, just surviving. Her parents, her mom running a snack shop. It's just, in the wake of the IMF crisis, it's just, life was hard, when you're working class.
And I found that the, whole situation at the end there, where she had to renounce her citizenship and become Russian, her nationality, I thought that was, again, it goes in with that, the kind of, as we talked about in Alive, like she had what her effort went to was it was for her family. Her effort was family, right? And so to keep her family from basically becoming destitute, she did what she could do, which was huge. Even though, and she said it when she was in the restaurant with that guy who wouldn't serve her judgment. She was like, "Listen, I didn't sell the country. I sold myself, just like you're selling these noodles." And I loved that it was that, and like none of her friends thought less of her. The coach still helped her get the best deal that she could, because they all understood that that's why she puts the effort in.
It's funny you brought up that restaurant owner, because I went back and rewatched episode 1. He's the asshole that yelled at Becky Jin for delivering the paper late.
So he's just a dick throughout the whole thing.
Right. But like kudos to the director and the writer. It's these moments and these connections that paint this little corner of Seoul.
Yeah.
That give you such a rich environment that they played in. And it's just it's the details that are just unbelievable.
I mean, that is something with this show. I mean, whether you the ending was satisfying or not to you, it was so well executed. It was so well done for that like corner of the world. Like it was very detailed. Like the production value was really, really good.
Yeah, so this is the director of You Are My Spring, King, The Eternal Monarch, Search WWW. Yeah. His name is Jung Ji-an. With the writer Kwon Do-eun, who did Search WWW. So again, one of our favorite top tier K-dramas, super rich in story, multiple storylines, really deep friendships.
Yeah.
But yeah, you were saying those 5. Oh, I love them so much.
So much. I have to say, of the 5, as much as I loved Ko Yoo-rim and her relationship with Na-hee-do, I have to say my favorite though was Ji Seung-won. Like who was played by Lee Joo-hyun. I just loved her. Like she was like this guiding force. There was never any jealousy about her best friend for her entire life, Moon Ji-young, when he fell in love with Ko Yoo-rim. It was never that. She was always like helping him or helping her. Yeah. Like there was none of that usual tropey triangle or longing. Like she just did her thing. And like her effort was to not be bored. And I loved that. I loved that for her. It was just lack of like fighting through boredom because she was so much smarter than everybody else around her.
Exactly. That the way she stood up to the teacher who was like doling out corporal punishment, even though it was illegal. Yeah. Again, big thematic ideas that are portrayed through individuals and individual stories that just hit home because you're like Moon Ji-won grows up to be this like really successful entrepreneur, right? Yes. Because and it's so hard in Asian society to break out and do something different. You know, look at the way Na-hee-do's mother was like, "What do you mean you're not going to college?" It's just like clearly she's been at the bottom of every school she's been in, and she's a world-class athlete. Yeah. Which is a whole other thing we can get into about how athletes are treated and don't have to bother going to class.
That was fascinating to me.
The school week includes Saturday.
Oh, I'm sorry.
At very, very, very long school days. Apparently now it's only 2 Saturdays a month.
Listen, I barely got through school as it was. I can't even imagine if it was a 6-day-a-week event.
Yeah, and you're there till like 9:00 every night. It's crazy. So, so Ji Seung-won, who is so smart and so competent and but so fun.
Oh my God.
That clubhouse that she built.
She was just great. Like she was just great.
That she's we loved her in Kairos, by the way, the actress. So that's why we really noticed her. But her friendship with the Moon Ji-won was just, it's like the lifelong friendship you wish you had.
Right?
Know?
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. And I thought that even though she was the fifth wheel, theoretically, I just loved that was never really an issue. Like I love that when she got drunk, she cried, because how many people do we know? I mean, how many of your friends do you just go, oh shit? Yeah.
The way she played Becky Jin, like by delivering food for him every night, and then stopped and she was like, oh, what happened? Where did it go? How come there's no dinner for you?
I did. We said this in the live, but I have to say, I now kind of want a drama with Nam Joo-hyuk and Lee Jung-young. Like, I'm kind of into that pairing now. Because even like at the very end, when he came to her, I think her father's funeral is what it was. When he came to the funeral and they were just sitting and talking and she was just kind of ribbing him, I was just kind of like, this could have been fun too. I could have really enjoyed that. I was kind of almost like, is this where he goes after Na-hee-do? Like that would have been interesting. But yeah.
Yeah. Except his younger brother turned out to be Kang-hoon
That's right. That's right.
from the red
Hilarious.
sleeve.
That was
So yeah,
hilarious.
so yes, Jen put it out there. K-drama gods, you need to put Nam Joo-hyuk and Lee Moo-young in a K-drama together as a couple.
Yes, that would be. I think I could really get behind that. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's only got like one more drama before he takes off to the military, if I read that correctly, right?
Oh yeah.
I think
it's about
so. What does he
time,
got?
right?
I think
Yeah.
he might be actually loading up, if I remember his My Drama list correctly.
Oh yeah, because he's got to be 28 now, right?
Oh yeah. No, actually, he's got one more. He's got one more.
One
It looks like. Yeah. If he sticks with it, it's called Here.
Meanwhile, we have Chae Hyun-wook, who played Moon Ji-won, who I think is only he's 20.
Oh, really?
Yes. The way he the things that he found as an actor that are just so that became his signature, like the way he played with his bangs, or that he would just look at Go Yurim and just touch his heart and just feel the love for her.
Oh my God. Cool. We were talking about this on Twitter real quick, but I, myself, and a couple other people on Twitter, all were kind of saying that he kind of reminds us of Park Seo-joon. He's got a very Park Seo-joon energy about him. And
He's got Park
essence.
Seo-joon. Yeah. Kind of the fun-loving.
Yeah. Like, especially from like Fight My Way. Park Seo-joon and Fight My Way. Right?
Nice. But the thing is, he looks like Jang Ki-young, because if you look at him in Racket Boys, he looks so much like Jang Ki-young.
Okay. Yes. Interesting. Yeah.
That kid has a lot going for him.
Yeah, he really does. He's fine. Mm-hmm. He'll be fine. He'll be good.
Yeah. He'll be fine.
He'll be fine. Like, as if
you don't worry about him.
Don't worry. I don't worry about him. Yeah. I'm not really sure why I said that. Yeah. He has a long. I think what I was trying to say is he's got like a big career ahead of him, because he's definitely got all the. And he's got this huge drama behind him now.
Huge drama. Yeah. You know who else I loved in this show? Their coach.
Oh my God, I was just going to say that. Their coach.
Coach Yang.
Who is played by Kim Hae-yoon, who usually is playing the most despicable woman ever in any situation. Like, she is the epitome of like wretched all the time. And she was so lovely as the coach that I wanted more for her in other roles.
The life lessons that she instilled in her athletes were just so, like, she comes at it this way, you know?
Right?
And then you're like, okay, this is now mine that I can have forever. I accomplished this, you know? It's like.
Right? She was great.
So
I just loved how she, it was that. Like, she's had that brash exterior for sure, but she loved each one of those athletes so much and wanted the best for them. And you could see that all the time. And I just thought it was great.
Yeah. And then when she was doing color commentary on the tournament, she's just like, she lost control. She was hilarious. And her tracksuits.
Oh my God, her tracksuits were the best. Like, she was just fantastic. I just really, really enjoyed her as the coach, and the relationship that paralleled with mom, that paralleled what happened with Becky Jin and Ko Yurin.
The writer set it up with all of these repeating circles.
Yep.
Because that's kind of how life works. But also she is telling us things.
We may not want to listen, Marisa. She was telling us. Yes.
She was. It was there. We just ignored them.
Badly. We ignored them at our peril, pretty much.
I know. So for all of you who are super disappointed in episode 16, maybe now you've been able to take a breath.
Right.
And remember, I mean, because even just us talking about these six or seven actors, it's like there's so much to this show that it's just not about where they ended up. It's like how they got there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Process over results, you know.
So with that being said, I mean, we did have 16 episodes, and these 16 episodes were long. Like, this isn't just a 16-hour show. This is like 28 easily. Like, I mean, each episode was like an hour and 20, and then the finale was an hour and 30. So, I mean, they did not truncate much at all. But with that being said, like, what were some of your favorite moments in this show?
How each time they did a tournament, it was a little different.
Oh, that's a really good point.
And the one that stood out to me the most was when the first tournament between Go Yurim and Nahido, where the director put them in a black studio. And everything else was shut out. It was like that tunnel vision you get as an athlete where you just focus on the thing that you have to do. And it was just visually so stunning. And it gave a bigger scope to the lives that these young athletes were leading. And it's just, oh my God. I have so many favorite moments. I know
it's so hard.
I don't know where to start and end. The funny moments, like when Nahido and Jiwon learned the dance, like he taught the dance together. It was just like,
I mean, to even go back, like almost before that, when she was trying to get herself expelled, like all of her little things that she tried to do to get herself expelled was hilarious. And I loved how the show, kind of going with that comedy idea, it would take this idea and take it almost to the edge of super tragedy and then take a left turn into comedy until episode 15.
Right. But the other thing is, these things were all connected and repetitive and went somewhere. Like the dance was not just the dance. It was part of getting her in shape and her not even realizing it.
Right.
And then the payoff came in a couple of different ways.
Yeah.
These things, like they just kept paying off. Like the scene with Nam Joo-hyuk where he's talking to this man in a restaurant. So A, we learned he speaks English.
Yeah.
B,
and his English was really good, by the way.
His English was really good.
Really good.
But that foreigner was actually the ref who was involved in the scandal that came later. It's all like it goes somewhere. It's not just momentary. Like these things all are connected. They mean something. They're going to take us somewhere. It's just yeah.
Yeah, it was so good. But speaking of those beats like that, like when she with the comic book, when she accidentally ripped, I think she ripped the pages out. But anyway, she had to her mother ripped. That's right. Her mother ripped the pages out, and so she hand drew them and wrote them, and then gave him back the book, and then ran off because she was so embarrassed. Like that, I still was like, that's hilarious. Like I loved that moment.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
So I mean, I think I have to say, I think my favorite moments were definitely the comedy moments, or because I just the romance took a while to like latch on for me because it really wasn't. We're going to get to our quibbles, but I did have a quibble about the age difference. And I know that it was only 4 years and I know all of that, but there was just it's just weird to me. It was I even noticed it in my very first notes. My first note was we need to get her out of high school fast. That was like episode 1. And so I was like, we didn't get her out of high school till like episode 13 or something like that. I thought that all of 16 was really well done. Like it was a beautiful episode and it was played so well that I want to say that it was a favorite moment because I was so into the whole episode. But unfortunately, at the end of it, I was just kind of like, oh, I guess it just hurts a little now. Okay.
Well, I think in order to have 16, you also had to have, I can't remember which episode it was, but where they went to the beach.
Yeah.
And I remember you were kind of like, I need things to happen.
Yeah.
But when I remember thinking this was a moment.
Yeah.
And it was beautiful and they were so connected and there was so much joy and this really gorgeous, evocative scene with Becky Jin and Nahido sharing the audio, just listening to the waves. It's like these things that inform them as maturing adults. And yet as a grown-up, she doesn't even really remember it.
Right.
So that bookend to that moment is what this show for me was really about, that all of these moments of connection, of friendship, that were so important at the time and helped us become the good, wonderful people, successful people that we grow up to become part of our past. And we don't even really remember them.
Right. Yeah.
Oh my God, I start crying again.
I know. It's like, why do they not remember? I do love another one of my favorite moments, even though I feel like it was kind of the production team it was kind of the red herring of the whole show, but the daughter being a shipper the whole time. And she was like us. She was like us.
Yes.
Even though she has a dad, she was still like, what? How dare you?
It was so funny. Oh my God. I love this show so much.
It was really a very, very good show. But as with all shows, we have quibbles. What were yours?
The K3 is Jen, Marisa, and you. You are part of this K-drama community, and our podcast and our live chats on YouTube are supported by members like you. Check out our memberships, and you can support us for as little as $3 a month or more. And each tier gets you access to great K-drama perks, like a calendar every month with premieres and finales, watch parties with some of your closest K-drama BFFs, private Zoom chats where we can squee and quibble all we want and it'll stay private in that room, and a little bit more, and you might even get some K-drama goodies. So go to Ko-fi.com, that's ko-fi.com/the K3, click on memberships and support the K-drama Coffee Break. My biggest quibble was the internet running amok. Just that while we were, and this is my fault for clicking on videos or stories or whatever, or reading entire posts that had way out there theories, but it could only happen because of two things. One is that the writer and the director were planting mysteries throughout the entire show that were not answered. And a lot of us have lived through the reply series where the big questions finally become answered in episode 16. Right. But she was dropping these breadcrumbs. And because we were so completely invested in the relationship, it's like, who is her dad? Do they get together? It was like, right? Oh my God. And so the internet ran amok. It was
the amount of forensic research that was occurring on this show. You would have thought that. Did you ever watch the documentary Don't Fuck with Cats? Like, it was a group of people that saw this video of this guy. It was daughter. It was, yeah. It was an intense time. But it was like this band of Facebook people who then went and tracked this guy down. Like, I felt like that's what was happening with this show. Like, the amount, I'm like, these are not real things, people. This is not, this is all made up. And I get it. You want, these two were so delightful together that you wanted to get your happy ending. But I mean, that one clip where people are like, you hear someone saying "appa" in the background, like you had to work to find that sound bit there. I know. And
I know.
Yeah.
Like her atelier is named 2521 and all of these things. It's like,
yeah, it was a lot. Mom's got Alzheimer's. Mom just like,
she's a single mom. Yeah. And the podigi that the foreigner noticed, it was foreshadowing that she would be a single mom because Becky Jin was dead.
Oh, it's just so much. It was just so much. Like, it kind of, again, to go back.
Nam Ji-hyuk was like, I don't know why everyone's trying to kill me off. But
I know, right?
So just watch.
Just watch. I mean, this man, the last two of his dramas have been so rife with crazy internet theories and like going down these weird rabbit holes of like it's just like, he's just like, just watch.
Just watch.
Watch the show. It's good. Yeah, it'll be fine. But yeah, there was, it was a lot. There was a lot. And we all wanted, I mean, listen, I'll be honest. I hung on till like probably the last 10 minutes of episode 16, hoping that that wasn't it. Them hugging it out at the bus stop. I was just like, they're running to each other, yeah. Oh, wait. I was like, oh, man.
Well, they got divorced when they ended their calling plan.
That scene flip phones was so hilarious and so tragic all at the same time.
I know. There apparently there's an allusion to another K-drama with the guy, what do you call it? Pulling his beanie.
Oh, is that what it was? Oh, okay.
I don't know. Yeah. Bina Hearts posted something about
that. Gotcha. Gotcha.
But yeah.
Yeah, it was it was heartbreaking. I mean, listen, it was heartbreaking, and I don't enjoy heartbreak.
No, and as it's a first love story, you know.
Yeah. I mean, I think my biggest quibble is that I mean, I said it before, but I just felt like the age difference, and we even talked about it a little bit. The age difference kind of didn't weird me out because it wasn't so epic that it wasn't Goblin-esque where I was just like, this is wrong. Like, I'm having a problem with this one. But I did want her out of high school. Like, I just needed her out of high school. But then as we kept going, and we got to the end, I kind of realized, especially with all of their journaling and diary messages to each other, she gave him safe harbor for not being ready to be an adult, and he kind of made her feel seen, as her mom didn't. And so I do understand more now that it's over, that why that was the way it was, and that when they reached a certain point with their careers, like it just wasn't going to gel because, you know, they had given all they could give in the relationship, and now they were on solid ground and then could grow.
That's right. That's right. As young people, like when they first met, he would have been like a sophomore in college.
Right.
And we know that Korean high schools go a little older than American and Canadian high schools. So emotionally, they were pretty close to each other.
Yeah.
And all of that growing up that you tend to do in college, he didn't go through. He had to mature quickly because his family lost their fortune.
Yeah.
But so I think they were emotionally closer in age. And like you said, as they matured, this was not a relationship that would work as grown-ups. It worked as, you know, young, you know, end of teenage, young adult years.
Right.
I didn't have as much of an issue with their age difference. If you want crazy stuff, watch a Japanese drama. I can't tell you how many dramas, and I haven't even watched that many, where a grown-up is ending up with a high schooler. Both like a Nuna romance. Like I've seen both, like male, female, female, male. Like it's just like, you know, he's a senior. Like he just turns 18 and now they can be together and she's 27. I'm like, oh my God. So Japanese dramas are like a whole other thing when it comes to age.
If I'm having a problem with this one, I probably should avoid those. Absolutely.
Oh yeah. It's you're like, what am I watching?
And so, that was kind of my only quibble. And then the ending, I quibble only because I care. They were just both so upset there at the end that you just wanted them to make it work, right? You just, you know, and I'm sorry. Nam Joohyuk cries better than almost any male actor today. And I'm just like, I'm so sorry. Yeah. So when he cries, my heart breaks. I have a hard time with it.
Yes, the scene where he is tying her shoe and she starts breaking down and first of all, a man kneeling down in front of you to tie your shoe is like, there's something that, oh my God. And then the emotions of it all. Oh Lord, that scene.
I honestly, up until they didn't like get back together in that point, I thought they were going to get back together at that point.
Me too.
Like I really thought they were going to be like, we'll make it work. We'll figure it out. Like, but if you do this.
If you listen to the beginning of episode 16, if you actually listen to the produced open, they changed the music. It wasn't that happy-go-lucky big pop song, retro song that they used in all other episodes.
I'm one of those assholes that is on that Netflix group that hits skip intro.
Oh, normally I do, but I didn't this morning, and I watched episode 16. I'm like, oh, they just set a different tone.
Yikes. Yeah. I mean, listen, I knew it was, I kind of felt it was coming. I was hoping it wasn't coming. So it's not really a quibble so much as a personal preference. But listen, those two they were just, the reason we care so much is because those two were so good, right? I mean, we've watched dramas where people, I've watched dramas where I'm like, I just drop them because I just don't care if they get back together or not, right? But you wanted these two to get back together.
It went beyond chemistry. It was something elemental about the two of them together. It was just...
it was really, really well done. So, I think just the shout out, I think you mentioned it at the top of this, and if you didn't, I apologize, it was from the live, but just the end, the fun, don't click off, guys, when it rolls, when the credits roll, because there's this end scene where it was just so beautiful. It was lovely. First and foremost, a shout out to Search WWW. He's on his Borrow login page.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
Hilarious.
I kind of wanted Brian to make an appearance, but you know, what are you gonna do? And he was trying to figure out what his password was, and his password question was, you know, because he hadn't like I think the line was something about, well, I haven't been on here in 15 years, and the line, you know, and they said, you know, his password hint was, "Who's your first love?" And it was Naido, and it was just
first love, man. It
and
just wrecks you.
that's what it was, you know.
That's right. That's right.
Well, it was a really, really well done drama.
Yeah. Yeah.
A little heartbreaking, but really well done. But not tragically heartbreaking. I will say that. I did appreciate the fact that it wasn't tragically heartbreaking. It was just regular people heartbreaking.
That's right. And there were tragic events as part of the lives we live. You know, it placed it firmly in the COVID era, you know, right at the beginning. It's like things that affect all of our lives. But it's like, but then you learn so much about, I learned so much about a lot of things like Korean high schools and fencing. And apparently like screaming is a big intimidation thing.
Is that what it is? Okay. Yeah.
Part of it is release and part of it's intimidation.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Big time.
Interesting.
Yeah. I just, I love that they said it in the world of fencing. There was something kind of beautiful and old world. And yet it was these two women and the places that it took them to was really, really incredible.
I did enjoy the fact, kind of going back to like how much obviously this writer who's a woman loves women and, you know, makes them very powerful. Like the two elite athletes are women.
We haven't really talked about their relationship.
No, we haven't.
Naido and
oh my God.
Rim.
Yeah. I wrote in my notes and I meant to say it, but I really, at one point, like halfway through, I'm like, I really need this just to become a GL between the two of them. Like I just,
but it was a love story.
It was, I know. But I'm like, they were lovely.
They were. That was such a fulsome relationship to go from a place of like hero worship to the reality of insecurity and fighting for yourself, and then just the whole, you know,
the whole roller coaster, right?
Yeah. That was
all the way
so
to the
important.
end when Koyurim shows up at Naido's like final press interview with on her retirement. Like it was just and it's kind of that thing we keep saying, like circles of circles and intertwining. Naido running to be able to watch Koyurim work out, and at the end, it's Koyurim coming to her final event, and it was just that I feel like, and I felt this kind of heading into the finale that was the big love story of the actual show, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
as
much as we love Nam Joo-hyuk, I mean, the real love story was those two women and what they were able to achieve by being at the top of their game.
Right. But also with each other.
Yes.
Like once they discovered that they had a past together, a connection, an internet connection or live.
Right.
I
don't even remember chat room. Yeah.
Chat rooms. Yeah. That they had this chat room connection and that when they came together that way, that's when they both blossomed and could be their best and could make hard decisions like changing your nationality and moving to Russia because you know, you had found foundation with your friends.
Like she had her people and her people supported her and did not let let others bring them down. Like they still knew what was going on. Like it was just there was so many beautiful points to this whole show, and it never. I will say, as much as I was disappointed that we didn't get a happy ending all the way around. I mean, it wasn't unhappy, but it wasn't, you know, it wasn't romantically.
It was bittersweet.
Happy. Yeah, it was bittersweet. I appreciated that we didn't fall into. It was more about just regular people life. It wasn't epically tragic, having to overcome epically tragic events. Like Dad didn't die in a car accident. Dad wasn't mortally wounded in a car accident. Dad caused the car accident, which caused more financial ruin, right? Like
Dad was the truck of doom.
Right? Like I found that to be a really interesting angle, that it was more, and I appreciated that more because it was, I think more of us can relate to just everyday events than the big events, right? Like, I mean, we all have our big events, but very few of us, thankfully, are really affected by those, you know, super big ones, right? Like, I feel like a lot of K-dramas go to like that really anvil tragedy thing, right?
Yeah. Oh,
And
yeah.
so I really
Yeah.
appreciate that this was more about just living life and taking the minor setbacks that happen and the bigger setbacks, and who do you have around you, and what can you do to overcome, and not, this is a life crushing situation, and what do you do? It was like, you know, this is hard. Life is hard.
Yeah. Right.
But you've got people around you who support you, and you lean on, and that makes it a little bit better.
Yeah, and it's specifically a coming of age story that they go from these young, older teenagers, but still young, immature, like that first press conference where she storms out to the last one, or Go Yuri making a big deal out of losing by like trying to like undermine what happened, to her taking control and saying, I'm going to go to Russia and I will support my family and I will compete for another country. So it's like kind of encapsulated in that scene where Nam Joo-hyuk is spinning that umbrella because he's watching Nahi-do like an athlete come up to her and like try to kind of taunt her, like you're not shit. I beat you in round 32.
Right.
And Nahi-do says these very profound gifts of, turn of a phrase, to support this young woman. Yes, you did meet me. But then she's like, stickers. It's like,
right. Yeah. Her love of stickers really struck a chord with me. I love stickers.
I know.
I was like, I need
stickers.
All those stickers. Stickers are great.
I'll buy all the Castella. What was it? The Castella cakes to get the sticker.
Oh, I love
But that's it. It's like it's like you're mature and then you're a kid again. And like you just kind of keep going back and forth as you age. And the guy you dated at 21 is maybe not the guy you should marry.
No, but if the guy I dated at 21 looked like Nam Joo-hyuk 9 years later, I would rethink that. I would completely rethink that. Just saying.
I can't with him sometimes. He's so holy.
I know,
moly.
right? Goodness, Nam Joo-hyuk. We're gonna miss you when you disappear for a year and a half.
Military.
That's gonna be an amazing comeback drama, though. I'm really excited. Ooh, I'm already excited for his comeback drama. He hasn't even left yet. I foresee me watching start a few times while he's gone.
Oh yeah.
Right.
But I just the pairings, the groups, the families, even the parents were all awesome in this drama.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it was just a really, really solid drama all the way around. So that comes to our final question. We always ask in every one of these we do, and I mean, usually we do finale series on ones that we like. But would you recommend this one if someone was like, I love Nam Joo-hyuk, I love Kim Tae-ri, should I watch this? What are you saying?
I'm saying yes, but also understand that this is not a romance. It's so much more than that. And so if you're in it for a Cinderella fairy tale ending, then you're kind of missing the joy of the actual drama, which is this full life that we're given over 16 episodes of like 5 young people growing up.
Yeah. Exactly.
So I guess that's yes with a caveat.
Right. I'm in the same boat. Like, I think it was just I would recommend it as, maybe not a binge, because I think the time you got to the end of it, you'd be a little bit more like, oh, that was a lot, and I'm not sure I feel full at the end of it, because it's the ending was, it was, as you keep saying, bittersweet. Like, you don't end it like, yes. Like, you just kind of are like, oh, okay, well, yay. Okay, good. Anyway. But I mean, yeah, I definitely would, up until that point, I mean, literally up until the last 10 minutes, it was beautiful. It was beautiful, beautiful drama. And I loved it. And I really enjoyed it. I'm not sure I'd put it on my rewatch list, though, I'll be honest.
I think I might need to take a minute before I rewatched it, but there are so many, there's so much joy in these moments.
You're so right.
Like banana milk and like when he was at the window just giving her the banana milk, like just stuff like that. Like when the glass broke and he picked her up, but then Ji-won was like, me, like just so
Right?
It's
They're
so
so-
full.
Yes.
Full, you know.
Yes, and how he would always find the four of them in his apartment. Like, why are you here? Why are
Yeah.
you here?
Yeah.
Like there was just so much, as you said, joy up until there wasn't. But the joy was just, it was really, it was a good watch.
I just loved living in that world with them.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
All right, you guys. So that is our final thoughts on 25-21. We love chatting about this stuff, obviously. So come and join us on our live. It's every other Sunday.
And also check out our podcast. We have finale series and actor series because clearly someone like Nam Joohyuk takes up a lot of space in our brains and we have lots to say about him. So please check out our actor series as well. You can find it on Apple Podcasts, on YouTube. If you like pictures, then watch it on our YouTube channel or take us with you in podcast form.
It'll be great. So until next time, we are the K3. I'm Jen.
I'm Marisa, and you are part of this K-Drama Coffee Break. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you next time.
Bye.